It's great to be here. Thank you very much for attending. First off, I'd like to thank EnerCom for inviting us. We're a new public company. We hired Larry Brusnardo to come and give us a little bit of help as here's how you run a public company with your investor relations. They've done a great job. So thanks to Larry, and it's great to be here. I'm here today with my business partner. It's our second time around, Brian Cree, and my wife, Gwen. Gwen and I were together at Garrity Oil and Gas, and we've been through Vitesse for a long time now. Gwen was my map tech originally, so appreciate her being here as well. So we say that Vitesse is a return of capital company. What the hell does that mean, right? What does a return of capital company mean? I'll answer that question in a second. Our slide deck is on our website. Ben Messier handles our investor relations. He's also handles a lot of our M&A. He can answer any questions. We are not going to go through the whole slide deck. I'm just going to give you some highlights here. So let's go back to 2010. I get an AFE for a horizontal well from PDC in the DJ. And Gwen and I were wholesomely unemployed at the time, and we're looking for an investment that would give us an annuitized stream of income for 20 to 30 years that was leveraged to inflation, price of oil going up, price of dollar going down, or technology. So I went to our old geologist from Garrity Oil and Gas, Eric Lipinski, and I said, you know what, maybe we should just take more of these financial interests in wells in the DJ. And Eric said, come see me. So we sat down in his conference room, and he brings out a core of the Bakken and the Three Forks and said, Bob, you are looking for the Bakken. The Bakken is a world-class rock. This is 2009. The industrial site at the NDIC in North Dakota is phenomenal. You can figure it out. So Gwen and I spent 2 years researching the Bakken, looked at every well file we could find from the NDIC. And if you haven't been to the North Dakota industrial site, it's incredible the amount of information. We spent a good part of a year and a half with our good friends now in Bismarck to understand that play. What impressed me was the Bakken was unbelievable rock. It's the tightest shale imaginable, which makes it the most receptive to technology, frac technology. What's the thing that we all know about the oil and gas business? 1, price of oil goes up and down. 2, technology always improves. Every year, technology improves. We wanted to get a relationship with a rock that over the course of time would get better. So through our research, we decided to come up with deeper, denser, cheaper, better, expanded. What does that mean? We thought that in this little yellow specks here you can see is in 2010, we started buying acreage. We thought that the play, instead of just being 2 to 4 Bakken wells, there'd be more than that in the Bakken. We thought the Three Forks would be prospective, deeper. You get more wells per DSU, denser, cheaper. Over the course of time, you got to drive down your costs. That helps your economics. Better, the first wells we were invested in was continental Cephalosha wells. 2011, those wells did 85,000 barrels of oil only in the first year. Continental offset those wells 3 years ago. Each Bakken well did over 200,000 barrels for less costs. So expanded, we thought that the field would would grow in productivity. So this is our acreage position in 2010. And when I burned through our acreage got drilled on pretty hard. So we went through our bank account pretty quickly. So Brian Crete maintained a relationship with George Hutchinson, who invested with us at TCW for Garrity Oil and Gas. And George was a wonderful investor. He's with us today. He knows more about the oil business than any of us will ever know. And George was handling Jeffrey's oil and gas book at the time and said, hey, let's team up. I said to George, look, what I'm trying to do is build an asset base that over the course of time would get drilled. Now, to do that, you need to absorb capital. It's not a private equity play. And George convinced me that Jeffrey's capital was long-term. No capital is ever really long-term, right? Well, Jeffrey's was. The guy that used to close me was Joe Steinberg, who started Leucadia and was the chairman of Jeffrey's. He's now still on our board. This just shows you with Jeffrey's capital, we acquired 50,000 acres. Now, a lot of oil companies have 50,000 acres, but they don't have 50,000 acres relative to our size. 80% of our asset is currently undeveloped. At the current pace of drilling in the Bakken, we'll be drilling for 25 years. That's unless technology improves. So what we really are capital allocators. We are a dividend-first company. So let's get back to what a return of capital company is. So Vitesse today is an extension of what Gwen and I started in 2009. Kind of like a family office. What we were looking for was that annuitized stream of income that was going to last for 20 to 30 years. That's what Vitesse is. We think about the dividend. That's how I get paid. That's how Joe Steinberg gets paid. That's how Brian Friedman gets paid. They're the guys that currently run Jeffrey's. They've been with me for 13 years. They're still with me. Joe Steinberg and myself have bought stock since we've been public. So the first thing we do, not the last thing, is we pay a $2 per share annual dividend. Not bad for starters. Our organic CapEx is the next priority. We're drilling down that 50,000 acres. To augment that, we do acquire some near-term wellbore drilling. Our hurdle rate for that is quite high. So we have a great pipeline. A lot of it comes from the original contacts we made up in North Dakota. Asset acquisition, we are always looking to grow. We do not play the look what our production is game. Potentially, we can sell assets. You know, $80 oil is pretty high. So we may actually sell some of our flowing if we think we can replace it with more valuable production. Share buybacks, the stock has done well since we've been spun out. But we've got $60,000 in the bank, depending on whether or not we, if we want to, if our stock does not do very well, we're very happy to purchase shares. So what's the value proposition? $2 a share is not bad. So we're going to pay you to wait for us to do something more. If the price of oil goes up, You guys are our partners. You can expect our dividend to go up. Technology. Improvement in technology is another value proposition for Vitesse. I didn't say it, Darren Wood said it. He's not going to increase his production, but he's going to spend half the amount of money to get that same production. That's just great economics. That extra cash will flow to you. And finally, it's what we call the TED. We've got $40 million of borrowing against our RBL. We've got a $240 million borrowing base. We are always looking to make an acquisition. If we make an acquisition, you'll hear the word dividend accretive. We're not looking to grow. We're looking to distribute cash to our shareholders over the course of time. This is a very long duration asset. We've made 3 wonderful acquisitions in our 10 years with Jefferies. We're like Ted Williams, we're going to wait for the fat pitch. So you're welcome to look at the rest of the slides on our slide deck. I want to thank all of you in the crowd who are Vitesse shareholders. You're my partner. You own a piece of this asset. I work for you. If you see Brian or myself or Gwen out in the hallway and you're a shareholder, please come up to me. Please, we'd love to meet you. And as well, if you're an old Garrity oil and gas investor or a patina investor, we'd love to talk to you because I bet you we got some great stories to tell. So thank you very much for your time and your interest in Vitesse. So thanks everybody.